Namaskar and a very pleasant good afternoon to all of you. I, Sangeeta Kaul, on behalf of Delnet, extends a very hearty welcome to each one of you to Delnet's today's monthly webinar series, which we have been conducting over the past few months. We have a profound privilege, firstly, in welcoming our distinguished speaker of today, Dr. Giridhar M. Kunkurji, the librarian at BITS Pilani campus. Giridharji, on behalf of Delnet and on behalf of each one of the attendees over here today, we extend a very, very hearty welcome to you. We are in an online environment, would have presented a digital bouquet of flowers to you, to welcome you. But your presence is something, that we always cherish, and we are indeed much grateful to you. I also extend a welcome to all our attendees who have joined us from not only from India, but also from different nooks and parts of our countries other than India. I also must confess that we have received one of the most overwhelming response to this webinar, and we are much indeed grateful to the kind of support that all our LIS fraternity is extending, especially to Delnet in organizing these webinars. And your continuous participation in these webinars really inspires us to come back to you every month towards the closure of a month in organizing these webinars. So we are indeed truly much grateful to each one of you. When we talk about the topic of the webinar, as the title says, is quite an interesting and invigorating title, which our distinguished speaker has chosen, that is library professionals as game changers. All of us, we, the library and information science professionals, are fully, encountering that we are amidst one of the most challenging times of our profession. While on one hand, we have to confront with the Amazon-like and Google-like experience expected from the library professionals, at the same very time, we are also encountering the unprecedented growth of information resources and also the technological advances, which pose indeed a most challenging times for the library and information science professionals. We professionals, it's a time now for us to become and think about the game changers. As being rightly pointed it out by one of the most legendary chief executive of General Electrics, Jack Welch, who said, if the rate of change outside your organization is greater than the rate of change inside your organization, the end is in sight. But yes, in order to encounter that, we need to now believe and we need to now think about changing the game altogether. And that's how today's webinar, that what we are thinking about and we have our distinguished, very seasoned and experienced library professional with us, Dr. Giridhar M. Kunkurji, who is going to share, and he's a man who is not only just speaks, he speaks with this enormous experience that he holds on his shoulders, who has profoundly contributed not only for the BITS Pilani campus, not across the Aditya Birla group, but I must say, and I must congratulate, and I must take this opportunity also to express, Giridharji, how grateful we are to have you today, and also for all the support that you have been extending, and also the contributions that you have been making to the profession in making the libraries as a place that everyone wants to go and visit and be a part of it. So thank you so very much, and must thank you also for choosing a topic. Everyone, how this more than 1,000 professionals have come together from different nooks and parts of the country and outside, and they have been a questions that what do we really mean by game changers? What is a game that we have to change now as a library and information science professionals? And we indeed owe everything to you for making this environment so exciting for our professionals. I have immense pleasure once again in welcoming our distinguished speaker. And I would like to make an arduous task to introduce a speaker of a great reputation like of Dr. Giridhar M. Kunkurji, but still I would make an humble attempt in making you aware, those of us who are in the profession for a long time, we have been knowing about the profound contributions he has been making for our youngsters, I would just like to make them apprise that Dr. Kunkur has over more than nearly 4 decades of rich experience in offering modern and customer-oriented library and information services, presently working as a librarian at BITS Pilani, and is also known for effective transforming the BITS Pilani library and also He holds the position of Chief of Publications and Media Relations Unit in the Institute. Prior to joining BITS Pilani, Dr. Kunkur was the head Learning Resource Center at Velinkar Institute of Management Development and Research in Mumbai, where he was instrumental in revamping and redesigning the library to go with the modern trends to increase the visibility and usage of the online physical resources, and awarded the Customer Success Award for the best practice through technology innovation by EBSCO in appreciation of demonstrated efforts to share successful initiatives with the community. For 24 years, Dr. Kunkur worked for the British Council Libraries in India in various capacities. He successfully served as Head Library and Information Services, West India, British Council, Mumbai, which was the busiest among the British Council libraries in the world. As a regional head, he was responsible for effective functioning of British libraries in Pune and Ahmedabad. He also worked as a manager of the British Library Bhopal for over 7 years. For nearly 3 years, he served as a director of programs for QMed Knowledge Foundation, an NGO which works in the niche areas of medical education and research in Mumbai. Under his leadership, BITS Pilani Library has received Wiley's Digitally Transformed Academic Library 2019 award under the NGO category. On 30th January 2021, the BITS Pilani Library won the prestigious Informatics Innovation Award 2021 under the Universities and Research Institutions category for the Innovation Zone and Maker Spaces established by him. He also has received the Most Dynamic Librarian Award under the banner of the Golden AIM Awards. Dr. Kunkur has published many papers and has delivered talks in various national and international conferences. It's a profound privilege for us at Delnet and for each one of us who is a part of this webinar today to welcome you, Giridharji, and to acknowledge your immense contributions. And we really wish and pray that you continue to serve the profession for long, many years and continues to inspire, the librarians to ensure that we are able to treat the path, that you would like to show. May I have a pleasure now to request you to kindly start your session, an interesting session that all of us, none of us would really like to even, spend our time in catching a cup of tea. We would just really like to remain glued, and because each and every word that you're going to speak will speak volumes of your experiences that you hold and volumes of the wisdom that you hold with you. Profound privilege in welcoming you once again, Giridharji. Thank you so much on behalf of Delnet and each one of us for giving us a chance to listen to you. It's over to you, Giridharji. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much indeed for that elaborated introduction. First of all, good evening, good afternoon, everyone, and I'm indeed extremely happy and grateful to the Delnet and also the director of Delnet, Dr. Sangeeta Kaul, for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts with all of you. It is indeed a great honor for me. And the topic, as mentioned by Dr. Sangeeta, is the library professionals as game changers. Why not? I shall be spending about 45 minutes on this particular topic. And here, I do not want to talk anything theoretical. Rather, I would focus on the practical aspects and citing the examples of what we have done at BITS Pilani. And at the end of the session, we will, handle question and answers if there are any. So to begin with, as Dr. Sangeeta has already quoted Jack Welch, I would like to repeat and emphasize on the same quote. As all of you know, Jack Welch was a very famous American business executive and the chairman and managing director of General Electric. He said that if the rate of change on the outside exceeds the rate of change on the inside, end is near. But we as librarians need to look at it with a slightly different perspective and tweak it a little to say that if the rate of change on the outside exceeds the rate of change in the library, then we must change the game. So the picture speaks 1,000 words. Perhaps you all will be able to figure out what I'm trying to say here. That is the difference between the present day users and users in the past. When we talk about present day users, Uh, as you all know, they are very, very tech savvy, very demanding, and invariably they feel that they are empowered by Google. And just Google it is perhaps the quintessential catchphrase of the present generation. It only talks about the enormity of the information that is available at the fingertips of modern day users. The problem with the younger generation or Generation Y is that they are not really very much bothered about the source from where the information is coming, how authentic it is, how trustworthy it is, whether it is coming from reliable sources when they use Google. As long as they feel that they are happy with what they get, and if it is meeting their information need, and they may not even go to the second page of the search result because they also do not have patience, and they want to see that everything functions effectively. They seek answers to every question that they come across, and also they would like to avail services with minimal efforts. And these are some of the characteristics of the present day users. And whether it is your library or my library, we are catering, the vast majority of our population that we are catering is younger generation, and we need to necessarily go with that particular audience and make our libraries as relevant to them, aligning our services, and anything that we offer to them should be aligned for younger generation because they are our vast majority of the users. So, as you all will agree, the past few decades have seen extreme changes in the way the users are exploring technology and their new ways of information seeking behavior. And secondly, we have been observing that the reading is continually being challenged in our libraries by a variety of alternative resources that our users are exploring. And some of the services provided by, say, some companies like, the Amazon.com or Flipkart, etc., from where we source books at discounted prices and have them delivered at our doorsteps within few days of ordering, have created immense choice and competition for the users, okay, because we are in the information profession. So these are the factors that are deeply influencing our libraries. So more than ever, we as library professionals now need to provide a variety of online services, as all our users are currently in the thick of online mode of learning or working because of pandemic COVID-19. And we as library professionals are at the peak of online information provision activities. Just imagine when our users start returning to our libraries, say after a gap of almost about, 1.5 years or more, we don't even know when they will return, having used so much of online content, online platforms, the e-journals, e-books, and so much online. When they return to our physical libraries, trust me, their expectations will be very, very different perhaps. And that is yet another factor that will deeply influence our libraries. We need to face it. It will be a challenge. And another problem, I should say, is that majority of our activities in our libraries are focused, are actually resource driven rather than outcome focused. Is that what our users want? Are we prepared to move from collection based spaces to the connection based programs? While collection is important, it is not some of the library. And over the period of time, we have been observing that the expectations of our users also have changed significantly, including their perception of using the library for learning, accessing, interacting, innovating, collaborating, and for gaining knowledge and experience. So while collection is a prime function of the library. Connection through the collaborations is seen as extended activities of the library, where we can actively engage our users with various academic research project innovative related activities in our libraries. Okay, so in order to re-inaugurate our libraries, we need to embrace cultural, technological, and physical changes in order to make our libraries more responsive, outcome-based, and customer-savvy. So, when we try and adopt and respond to these changes by introducing the most needed the services as required by our users, and the most desired technology that we engaging in our libraries, and also the kind of resources that they look forward to, and also collaborative spaces in the library, trust me, then we are ready to change the game. Uh, Let us accept the fact that the traditional functions of the libraries, whether it is, wherever we are working, some of the things like, the reference work and collection management and manual circulation counters, they're all fast losing their status as a prime function of the library professionals because of so much of automation that is coming in the place. All right. So, and the new functions such as the research support, data management, bibliometrics, digital initiatives, scholarly communication, events, information literacy programs, social media platforms, innovative spaces, providing in our libraries, and also the collaborative spaces that we create, they are becoming increasingly the academic librarians' responsibilities. So, designing new services and creating collaborative spaces by involving the stakeholders, such as the faculty members, research scholars, and students, and also authorities, will definitely help us in developing a library of their dream or choice. So, and at the same time, I strongly believe that it gives us an opportunity to grab the imagination of the users, our users, and align our services based on their expectations while offering a choice of the services they need, the using right kind of communication methods, adopting new ways of information provisions, and developing spaces they want to engage with. And these are the essential ingredients of the game that we want to play in our libraries. So then, how can we respond to the new emerging trends and make our libraries aligned to our users? So, well, many small incremental improvements will definitely help. So whenever I get an opportunity, I make it a point to say that library is an experimentation ground for all library professionals. Only thing is we need to think out of the box to make it happen. And but at some point, yes, we may have to make major adjustment. We may fail, nothing may move, and things may remain stagnant for a while. But with determination and start thinking like a game changer, we will certainly succeed. Then what is our role in guiding the developments in libraries? For this, we really need to get into the heads of our users to understand what really they expect from the library. So to get these ideas from our users, we at BITS Pilani we have been organizing continuously many interactive and brainstorm sessions to elicit from our users what they really like in the library. Okay, just to quote a few handful of examples, we had a very interesting brainstorm session involving faculty members, research scholars, and students on the topic, the things that make me happy in the library. So what we had done in this particular case was we had created 3 groups, one exclusively for faculty, another for research scholars, and third one students. we had given them about 40 minutes to discuss among themselves about the kind of elements that really make them feel good in the library. So after the deliberation, one person each from the group was supposed to come and make a presentation and share their thoughts as the outcome of their discussion. So uh, from three different kinds of, the users, like faculty, research scholars, and the students, we got their perspective of the elements that they really look forward to in the library. So that was a very interesting exercise that we had done, and we could see a lot of enthusiastic participation by all these people. Another interesting activity that we undertook was it was an idea meet where we involved some select few students cutting across all branches of science, technology, engineering, humanities, social science, and you know management and all that. And we discussed with them on the topic creating inspiring spaces in the library. So during this discussion, what happened? Some of the suggestions perhaps may sound trivial when they made suggestion, but when we actually looked at it after implementing, they turned out to be really big. I mean, they resulted in big changes actually. So some students say, "Sir, the library is beautiful. It is, it's pretty big and has a palatial ambience, but the walls in the library are empty. Okay, why cannot we just fill the walls with some interesting, the paintings in the library?" Okay, so we thought, actually, why not? Actually, because interestingly, the BITS Pilani has got a creative art club, by the students. So over the last 4 5 years, we have been constantly adding good number of the paintings on the in the library, which are painted by our own students. Okay, and that required a bit of liaison with them, interaction with them, and we could get hold of such paintings and fill the library with paintings. And trust me, that has brought so much of change in terms of ambience of the library. Okay, and another suggestions that came from them was, they said, "Sir, every single student is nowadays, using smartphone and laptop and so many other gadgets, and library does not have charging stations enough." So, and that was true. That was true about 3 years back. And we started adding more and more charging stations, and we could see the positive response for that. Small little, but yet they matter a lot. They said, "Sir, please introduce ebook readers." So we procured Kindle readers. And interestingly, one student suggested, "Sir, please introduce chessboard in the library." I said, "My God, chess, you expect us to see students playing chess in the library?" And that was a bit of out of box thinking at that particular moment of time. But then we thought, why cannot we try it out? Let us procure some. So we procured a few chess boards, and we added those chess boards to the Koha catalog, just like a book. And we publicized it well in the campus, announced the availability of chessboard. We could see a lot of students, coming and playing chess. It is an intellectual game. It makes them relax and enjoy at the same time. And just about a few months back, when I wanted to generate a report using our Koha catalog, I wanted to see the report of the fast moving books. The Koha generates fast moving titles. Okay, so when I took the report, the topmost item as a fast moving item was the chessboard. So what I'm trying to say here is, when our users recommend something, they really mean it. We must trust them. And they said, so use introduce LED screens to propagate and promote whatever library has to offer in terms of services, resources, events, activities. And also, like, you can promote scientific developments, innovations that are happening around the world, and the documentaries about great scientists, engineers, and things like that. it made a lot of sense for us. So we started getting good number of LED screens, and we put them in different places, strategic places in the library, and we could see the difference. People behave very positively to such changes in the library, no matter how big or how small they are. That is, those elements are getting noticed actually. And another thing that we did was we engaged, 100, we made actually 150 students visiting the library in one go. And they were led by one of the senior faculty members of Humanities and Social Science Department. And you can see that lady here. And the task that was given to them was mind mapping of the library. So these 150 students were made to go around the library, take a tour of nook and corner of the library with their open eyes, open mind, and each one of them was given a slip of paper in their hand, and they were asked to just come out with one suggestion according to them what is missing in the library. Okay, and they were told very specifically not to talk anything about that is already existing. They should think about something which is missing. So it was about 1 hour activity. In 1 hour, we could get 150 suggestions, recommendations to improve the library. Okay, we prepared an Excel sheet out of that. And when we prepared 150 recommendations, we prioritized them. Some of them we could handle without any budget because those were just easily possible, executable recommendations. Okay, some needed some money, some budget, which we could accommodate within the same year's budget, whereas some actually required to be bid for more budget in the next financial year. Okay, and a few suggestions were such that actually they required long range planning, so which required the permission from the authorities to implement such recommendations. Okay, but end of the day, we that list of 150 became almost equivalent to a shopping list for us, for the library to change. Okay, and another activity that we undertook was a brainstorm session where we engaged faculty members on the topic creating collaborative spaces in the library to foster innovation. The objective here was to initiate the innovative activities to be undertaken by the students in the library, supported by the faculty members. So therefore, I always say that we must engage in collaborative activities no matter who they are. Okay, and we must get equal support from all the stakeholders. So here you can see one of the senior faculty member actually making a presentation on how the faculty can support innovative activities in the library. Okay, that you can figure out. There is a Dr. S.R. Ranganathan's photograph. It was done on the Librarian's Day. Okay, so and this video is also available on the BITS Pilani's YouTube channel. Actually, okay, the entire deliberations are captured over there. So, and very recently, I'm talking about from 11th to 16th of January this year, we organized yet another very interesting online contest for BITS Pilani students. And the contest was about, the best ideas for BITS Pilani library, where the students were expected to share their ideas on the innovative services to reach out to the students off campus during the COVID-19, and new technologies that can be engaged when they return to the library after the pandemic, and what kind of new spaces and they expect for collaborative activities in the library, and the kind of books and e-resources that matter to them most, and also to make the BITS Pilani Library social media platforms such as the Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, etc., interesting with new feeds that students would like to engage with. And we also announced a good number of prizes: first prize, second prize, third prize, 10 consolation prizes. Okay, so and this has happened just about last month, and we just last week we finished going through all the suggestions. We are excited about it because we got 300 suggestions from the students, and we are committed to implement at least 10 best ideas during this financial year. And when we talk about 300, don't assume that everything is implementable. At least, they are so enthusiastic. They would like to share their ideas, and and it is our choice. It is our this thing, what is possible, feasible, and acceptable to a library environment and all that. You pick and choose and implement, and you bring that difference to the library. And now currently we are already working on it. The entire library team is busy looking at and initiating some new suggestions made by the students already. Okay, so that's a very interesting activity that will take place even this year. So looking at the past recommendations and change, the suggestions that were made by the stakeholders, what kind of changes that we have brought out in introduced in the library as a result of such interactions? So talking about the physical spaces, I'd like to tell you about some of the spaces that we have implemented as a result of such interactions. So one is innovation zone and makerspace. This is the makerspace, and these are collaborative spaces where students work on innovative projects and churn out solutions to different problems. I shall be taking you through my slides in the next few slides. I will take you through the innovation zone as well as makerspace, and also we managed to implement an ideation zone and multimedia studio also in the library. So ideation zone here is a takeoff ground for budding ideas and ideation, which is a crucial stage of design thinking process. See, every student has an idea, and they want to give wings to such ideas, and discuss with their peer groups and try to give it a shape, and try the feasibility of whether those ideas can be actually implemented into a reality. So it will go through a process of prototyping and so many other phases before it takes some shape. So this ideation zone facilitates all those requirements. Okay, so this is the multimedia. I'll be taking you through this particular space later. And another interesting space that we developed as a result of various such deliberations was a research zone. And this research zone was not there in the library just about 3 years back. Now, when we set up this research zone, which is meant for all research scholars and the faculty associated with the research, we created an exclusive space, and we brought in all the research books based on the current research that is going on in the campus with all research scholars, and we made them select those books from the general collection that we had. We brought them under one umbrella under this particular space, and we are showcasing the research articles, research publications by faculty members as well as research scholars in this space to do their review of literature and all that. We have provided adequate facility in this particular space. And if any research scholar wants to make deliberations, presentations on their research with other people, they can make such presentations there within the library. And we have, as you can see here, there is a LED screen here, and which they can use for any of their presentations. And also, if they want to connect with other research organization anywhere in India, they can get connected with those research establishments and discuss about the research work that they are undertaking. So to tell you, after creation of this particular space, it has made such a huge difference to the that particular research community. The number of footfalls have gone up tremendously, I should say this. Okay, now couple of other things that we have brought in are something like the tea, coffee, snack vending machines in the library. Now many library colleagues, many library friends, they keep telling me, my God, how can you do this, such a thing in the library? It will invite, the insects, rodents, cockroaches, and worms and things like that. See, when we sit with the problem, you sit with the problem. And let us not forget there is a solution for every single problem on this earth. Okay. So we looked at the problems first to avoid any kind of nuisance that will create as a result of this. So we address that first before implementing this. So there are strict guidelines for the service providers here, strict guidelines for the students, and if they misbehave, there is a heavy fine that they have to pay. So they are all very well behaved. It is a nice and it is hygienically maintained. And the outcome of this, you know what, just to have a cup of tea or a small bite, the students were supposed to go outside for a long distance, spend their time there, come back. It was a time consuming activity. So this facility has actually helped library to retain the users for a longer duration in the library. So people are now enjoying this facility, as a matter of fact. Okay. And other things are like, the brainstorm room and the group discussion room that we have created in the library. Just to talk about this brainstorm room, perhaps you will be able to figure out from the photograph that it is a small place at measuring 20 feet by 40 feet. And we decided that we will create a very aesthetically designed space here, providing all kinds of necessary infrastructure like LED projector, automated screen, whiteboard, sound system, collar mic, microphone, everything. Okay, so what a space requires for any kind of deliberation. And students, they are using this facility for webinars, seminars, workshops, book discussions, poetry club, and the video screenings and deliberations on their project work and things like that. The activities are endless actually. And we have a very good system in the library where all such spaces that we have created have to be booked by the students using the library portal. So we have developed a very interactive library portal. That portal itself will take another session to describe how it actually works, because it's a very, very interactive library portal that we have come up with. The students use that library portal to book this place. I'm not at all exaggerating. In the last 2 years, I'm not talking about. I'm. Let us not talk about this pandemic closure from March last year till now. But before that, 2 years, just 2 years, this space, tiny little space of 20 by 40, was utilized by more than 18,000 students. Okay, so small space, huge utility. So naturally, the footfalls in the library with one small space has made a huge difference to us. So like that, we have, as I mentioned, discussion rooms and things like that. Now, just to talk a little more about the innovation zone and makerspace, as many of you would know that makerspaces are a growing service area for many academic libraries, especially in Western countries. So in at BITS Pilani, it's a collaborative space, and this space actually provides access to resources which aid in design, prototyping, and realization of solutions. And we have provided, this space provides enough freedom to our students to explore and experiment out of the box ideas in real time, and facilitates the collaboration with other like-minded students and faculty to work on projects and create products which have an impact across different levels. And the idea of having this innovation zone and makerspace, evolved as a result of the series of discussions that we had in the past with the faculty and the research scholars and students. Okay, the only prerequisite to use this space is a strong desire to learn and create by the students. Okay, and this facility aims to serve as a working ground for independent students projects. Like, for example, the students have worked on many projects using this makerspace and innovation zone. They have worked on smart campus programs like 3D printed biometric face recognition machine for marking attendance. They have produced, some products out of electronic waste generated on the campus. They have come out with sustainable solutions to water scarcity problems, and they have developed prototypes for rainwater harvesting, so on and so forth. Okay, so, and it's not just projects. Actually, they use this facility to implement them as well. So the space has created a separate and very well furnished section in the library with access to the state of the art resources that we have provided there. We have a 3D printer and high performance computer, and Raspberry Pi 4, Arduino kit, and so many electronic gadgets, the electronic circuits that we have procured, and IoTs. And all these are now part of the library collection, and all these items are added to the library Koha catalog. You can see here in Koha catalog, there is a separate category made under the name Makerspace. When somebody browses through the catalog under Makerspace, they will come to know what electronic gadgets that are available in the libraries, so that they can borrow these electronic gadgets to be used in innovation zone or makerspace, just like they borrow books. But because these are very specialized items like electronic items, so a very well trained staff members are designated to handle the circulation of these items in the library. And the innovation zone also provides access to various simulation software packages. Some of them are institute licensed, some of them are open source freewares, and some of them are paid software. So these simulation software packages, the students use them for various designing and simulation purposes like mechanical design, electrical design, 3D modeling, and video editing and animation, and slicer for 3D printers, so on and so forth. And all these software packages which are loaded onto various computers in innovation zone, every single computer needs to be booked by the students well in advance in order to use them properly. So we keep a track of who is using what resource when, for how long, and for what purpose. Okay, so we have a full control on the complete set of activities that happen. So the use of resources by the students, as I mentioned, is handled by the portals, the library portals booking system. Here, this is a snapshot of the library portal where you can see makerspace booking, and you can see here it is book 3D printer or book high performance computer. When you click there, you will come to know the rules and regulations associated with it, and the SOPs, the standard operating procedures. And we have actually put a full-fledged PDF as a part of the portal. When they click here, they will get the complete set of the SOP, how the space should be used. Okay, so to avoid misuse of the facility that is being given to the students, because we do not want anybody to play around with the important electronic gadgets, so we have stipulated certain amount of fee to the students to use it. Just like in our libraries, we charge 1 rupee per page photocopy, isn't it? So for 3D printing, we use filament. So depending upon the weight of the filament, they pay for it. Okay, and also the duration, how long they are using it. If a particular 3D printing is taking 7 hours to print, then they will have to pay for 7 hours of printing time, because there is a staff, there is an infrastructure, there is electricity, there are overheads, and also at the same time to ensure that it is being used for a very purposeful, very useful activity, very important project. So we want to ensure that. So anything that is free that we give or think of giving to the users, will have no value. So when a small fee is stipulated to them, then they will find a value in that. Okay. Now, talking about the novelty and practicality and impact of this particular space, this space is actually managed by a team of students, and there is a club that we have created. It is a creative students club called Srishtara. Srishtara means creator in Sanskrit. Okay. So it is constituted by the library, and it currently has 15 very well trained students who are from different disciplines, and they are responsible for the management of the innovation zone and makerspace in collaboration with our incubation cell, okay, at BITS Pilani. So this is the logo of our Srishtara team, and this team is under library. So we manage it. So it is an extended trained staff. Like students, we see them as very integral part of the library staff. Their category is different, but they behave with certain amount of responsibility. Okay, they do a lot of value addition to the library. Very interesting, activities they undertake. And the novelty is this space serves as a center of collaborative creation amongst the very few library maker spaces in India. And this space is providing all the necessary resources and support so as to cultivate the change makers of tomorrow. So talking about the practicality and feasibility, this space has been received with overwhelming enthusiasm and positive feedback from the students community, and we have been holding a series of 3D printing workshops, how to use simulation software package in order to skill, create awareness, and engage students community, as well as in the process, the library staff is also being trained. Okay. So as we go on adding more and more equipment, it is expected that a large number of students will benefit from the same. Now, talking about the impact, what is the outcome of this particular space is that the space has a tremendous impact on students from all branches of study, including those who are working on startups, incubation center, and those who are participating in the national and international competitions. They are using this particular space. And this has really led to a growth of a students community where they collaborate, exchange ideas, explore technology, and implement projects. And hence, this particular facility has brought out a maker in every single student. And it was presented, the students use this. They recently made a presentation during one of the international conferences organized by MIT Media Lab USA. Okay, the Srishtara team members made a presentation. You can see here this Srishtara student making a presentation during this Global Community Bio Summit, okay, conference. So that is the level it has gone up to. Now, talking about the ideation zone and multimedia studio in the library, this ideation zone, as I mentioned, is a takeoff ground for budding ideas and ideation, and it is absolutely crucial stage for design thinking process, and it facilitates discussions in a very conducive environment, and it provides resources like discussion rooms, teleconference facility. We have recently procured 75-inch multi-touch LED screen with whiteboard facility, wireless display, chalkboard, and flexible workstations and group discussion tables in conjunction with our multimedia studio. Now, talking about multimedia studio, it has been set up to give lift to the field of multimedia creations, like the photography and filmmaking, and which are very, very vital aspects of today's digital age, where a lot of younger generation is completely engaged with. Okay, so we need to align the library services to go with what they want. So this facility, multimedia facility, will also be used by the faculty members, research scholars, and students to record their lectures, presentations, and academic videos, audios, digital artworks, and edit them as per their requirement. And the studio also provides all that is required for a beginner as well as for a trained professional to cherish the fruits of creativity. Now, the kind of equipment that we have added to this particular multimedia. I'm showing you quickly. These are some of the gadgets that we have added. It's a sound mixer, and many things that we have added. And even in the procurement, we have engaged the students' recommendations. Okay. Now, going ahead, I would like to tell you yet another very interesting space that we have created in the library, and it is called BITS Pilani Heritage Gallery. Now, this gallery, the objective behind this gallery is to showcase how BITS Pilani has evolved right from its Pathashala days, in 1901, to the present status of Institute of Eminence. So, BITS Pilani, if you look back the history, it began as a primary tiny little school, okay, in a very obscure corner of the country called Pilani. It's a remote place in the country, and now it has taken the shape of national higher education institution, having branches in the campuses in Hyderabad, Goa, and Dubai. Okay. Now I'll tell you the story behind this. When I joined this BITS Pilani library about 6 years ago, actually that time it is actually coming to very close to 7 years. So when I had come here, I could see in one of the obscure corner of the library, there was so much dump that was kept over there. You can see here they were scattered all over the places, unorganized, catching dust, unattended by anybody, and things like that. So I did spend quite a lot of time on to see what all these cartons have. Okay. So, to my surprise, I could see such valuable photographs of the national leaders prior to the independence, like Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, Ravindranath Tagore. I mean, like, so many people like Rajendra Prasad, Vinoba Bhave, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, many people, they used to come to Pilani because of their close association with G.D. Birla, who was the founder of BITS Pilani. They were such wonderful photographs, but lying there for so many, like, I should say more than 40, 50 years. I said, my God, these are real treasure of the institute. And I strongly felt that, they needed to be chronologically organized, revived, digitized, reprinted, framed, and displayed with a storyline, how actually it transformed from a primary school like a Pathashala to the current status of the Institute of Eminence. So I will now take you through the current, the how we have, converted that space into a gallery now. I will take a quick tour of that now. This is, as you can see, those photographs were curated. They were organized, chronologically arranged, and we created a content team. We worked on the story. We went through so much of literature, and things like that. There are so many books published on BITS Pilani, so we started working on documenting, all these visits and the story behind the formation of right from the school, Pathashala, to intermediate school, college, and cluster of colleges, and then university, and then campuses, and things like that. So it is going in a storyline, like, chronologically, and adoring the walls of the library. And you can see here yet another corner of the BITS Heritage Gallery. And what you see here, these black and white, this thing, that is the storyline, okay? So we are describing the entire story, how it evolved. So it has come up very beautifully. And these are like, the bound volumes of the college magazines of 1930s, before independence. They were lying loose. Okay. So we got them together. We put them together. We have digitized each one of them. The content is so much now, and it talks about wonderful story of BITS Pilani. And even early days, even before formation of the colleges and all that, there are so many newsletters and departmental publications which we have kept here, okay, organized and digitized. Otherwise, they would have gone into the dustbin. Okay, I am actually telling you that. So this is our Goa campus. This is Hyderabad campus. We collaborated with Goa campus and Hyderabad campus to get the storylines there. And also this is our Dubai campus. Okay, so again, story associated with that. So now this is a mezzanine floor, okay, on above that. And this is the place where you could see those, scattered, unorganized content of, the photographs in those cartons. Okay, this is converted into a beautiful gallery now. Okay, and the book that is on display on this tiny little table is the first ever book procured by the library with accession number 1. So we are presenting it like a, the museum item there, and also showcasing the importance of the book. And it is resting on the catalog. Unfortunately, you cannot see the below. This is the card catalog. We have converted that into a coffee table. Very nice. People love this particular card catalog, where handwritten catalogs are there. Okay, right. So the work is still in progress, and maybe in few months' time it will get inaugurated. I'm sure, the alumni, the important visitors for BITS Pilani will really enjoy this particular space. Now I will move from spaces to some interesting, services that we have designed and we have implemented that do during the pandemic time in the last 1 year. The objective was to put resources to optimum use. So we named it as the Research Aids Alert Service and Teaching Aids Alert Service. What we did was we worked on a system to map the digital content of the library covering various databases, peer-reviewed articles, and from various reputed journals to the courses taught by the faculty members in their classes, as well as research scholars to go with their research. Okay, so just like you all subscribe to so many databases, we also subscribe to nearly 35 online databases, and those 35 databases, they provide access to nearly 65,000 international journals. So these 65,000 international journals in turn provide millions and millions of articles. We as librarians, how do we measure? How do we look at the effective use of these resources by our, community? Be it faculty members or research scholars or students. How do we measure that? How do we ensure that they are using it well? So at least, from our side, if we take a proactive action, we can create something. So the idea here was to make available a maximum of 10 articles which are latest, peer reviewed and full text, relevant to their classroom teaching and or research areas in the form of alerts, either weekly or monthly or fortnightly, based as per their choice. Okay, so what we had to do for this was, like many of you might be subscribing to EBSCO service. We also have EBSCO, their discovery tool. Okay, but the discovery tool does not provide uh, straight away this kind of a service. Okay, the alert service I'm talking about. So we had to design a service to go with the discovery tool. So we created a separate platform. For that, we had a series of discussion with the EBSCO team. That discussion went on for a couple of months before it took some shape. So to receive this service, what actually happens is the faculty members and research scholars, they are supposed to give us keywords associated with their classroom teaching. For example, if a faculty member is delivering 5 courses associated with those 5 courses, the faculty is supposed to give us 5 keywords. So those 5 keywords can be entered here. There's a provision for entering 5 keywords. And to ensure that the articles that they receive are of high quality, so we needed to enter certain limiters here, like they need to be in full text, they need to be English articles, they need to be the peer reviewed articles and things like that. The quality is high, so that the quality is high. So we can put those limiters here in this particular column. And some faculty, some research scholars, they want articles coming from a particular journal or a particular magazine. So such requests can be undertaken under facets here. Okay, so we can indicate those journals if they wish. Okay, so that they get absolutely what they want to match with their classroom teaching or their research. And even for the library point of view, for the person who is providing the service, we wanted the platform to be very, very simple, so that we can just enter the name of the recipient, either the faculty or the research scholar, his or her email ID, and upload the university logo here, so that when they receive any alert, they know that it is coming from BITS Pilani. And also, in order to make it personalized, we can say that it is a teaching aids alert service for Professor Smita. So when Professor Smita receives the alert service, it goes with this particular heading. So she knows that it is personalized. There is a feel good factor for them. And also, like how frequently they would like to receive it, whether they want to receive it weekly, fortnightly, monthly, can be entered here, and how long they want to receive it, whether they want to receive it for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, that can also be entered here. And who is providing the service? Is it Giridhar Kunkur, or is it any of my colleague? So we can give our email address here, so that when whoever receives the service, he knows or she knows that it is coming from XYZ in the library. In case of any problem, they can always get associated with that person. If articles are not relevant and they do not wish to receive the service anymore, or they want to improve it, things like that, so you can always liaise with them. So when we create the alerts, the platform also generates report backend. So for all the recipients, it generates the report. So this is the complete list of this is just a snapshot. It's a very big list. So I'm just showing you a couple of such people who have requested for this service here. So backend, we can actually preview what they are receiving, what kind of articles they are receiving. Are they relevant to the keywords that they have asked for? And even the recipient also can check, of course, and they can get back to us. So when you click the preview here button, so what you get is, you will come to know immediately that, this is, yes, this is for Mr. Vivek Tiwari, who is a research scholar. It is a weekly library email alert, and he has asked for 5 keywords. So he is receiving alerts on these keywords. Now I want to know what Vivek is getting under phase change. So I will click here, and I will immediately come to know this week he has received these 10 articles on phase change. I can counter verify whether these articles are phase change or not. So quality checking can happen both ways. Okay, so to tell you, this service has added a lot of value to the faculty members and research scholars, and indeed has put the library resources to optimum use. Now, every week, our faculty members and research scholars are receiving 15,000 alerts as of now as a part of this service. That means in a month, they are receiving 60,000 alerts from the library. Okay, so when we did a survey to see whether this particular service is seen as an useful or not so useful, so we conducted a survey with the faculty members. We also conducted for research scholars, but I am presenting you here the faculty members outcome. 82% of the faculty found the research teaching aids alert service as either good or excellent. 87.9% of the faculty found research alerts as either good or excellent. And 81% of faculty members found this service very useful. Now, there is a gap of almost about 19% of the people who are not so happy. Okay, so we also know back in 19% of the people on a higher side are not really so happy. So we can touch base with each one of them to say that, sir, we know that you are not happy with this. Let us sit together, improve the what should I say, the keywords, so that we can send you the more relevant search results, so you'll be happy. So they appreciate this, the kind of proactive initiatives taken by the library. So they feel that they are engaged, library is engaged constantly, after the faculty members, after the research scholars, to improve the service. Okay. All right. Now I would like to move on with another area, which is the use of technology that we have engaged in the library. Just one example I'm giving you, and perhaps you are able to figure out what I'm trying to say here. It is about the library app. And again, this library app has been designed by our own BITS Pilani students. Okay. And it is developed to provide quick access to library services, resources, book spaces, and to interact with the library. Okay. So, and also users can carry our library entire collection in their pockets. So we will spend just about 1 minute on watching this video. I do sincerely hope when I click this, the video will run. I hope so. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So let me see. Okay. I hope you were able to see that. I will continue with the presentation just to conclude. This is my last slide. I want to quote Victoria Ichilzi Bartels. She's an author, she's a coach, she's a consultant, and she calls herself as a life gamer. So according to her, whatever your project is, you have the ability to turn it into a valuable and enjoyable game, gathering many unforgettable experiences. Every project, however tiny they are, if given enough attention and peeled off worries, has ability to bring inspiration and eagerness to do more and create more. So friends, we as library professionals do have the ability to bring in inspiration, do more, and create more. So that's how we as library professionals can be the game changers. Thank you very much for your patient listening. I know that I have exceeded my limit. I seek your pardon for the same. And if there are any questions, I shall be more than happy to answer.
Thank you so very much, Girdharji, for such a stupendous, splendid talk. And you have offered bountiful of ideas to all our attendees, to each and everyone. And everything, whatever, if we look back in 1 hour, you have given them at least, if not more than 100 ideas, more than one idea per minute you have given them, that they can become the game changers in their own institutions, in the libraries. And this has been one of the most memorable talk that we have ever organized. And thank you so very much indeed for offering them too many of the things. And I think even if they're able to do a handful of them, if they're able to implement, they would be setting in the new examples that the way that you have done it at BITS Pilani. Thank you so very much for sharing your valuable inputs, for sharing your vast expertise that you hold with them. And may we really desire and wish that our libraries, our library and information professionals are able to embrace those kind of ideas and implement them in whatsoever uh, way that they can do it at their places. And they are, you have truly inspired them, as you have shown the last very slide. that whatever are the circumstances that we are in, and we should peel off our worries and try to do it. Whatever work that we are into, we should always try to put in, our new energy and thoughts. And you have indeed done that, today. I must say that for each one of us. Thank you so much. You have been talking about the coffee, tea vending machines, the brainstorming rooms, the ideation rooms, innovation rooms, maker spaces. I have seen for the first time that in Koha, you do have a cataloging item as a maker space, because whatever you are procuring, you are also cataloging into your collections as a part of the collections. And most importantly, the alert services. Everyone thinks about 81%, 82% who are the ones who are getting benefited, but your own efforts to tap those 19% who are not satisfied, that's the takeaway again for our own professionals who are there in the libraries. Everything whatsoever, each and every word that you have spoken today holds a great value. It's an asset, for each and every library professional. Thank you so much for sharing your time, for your efforts, and for being there. It's always such a great opportunity and a pleasure to have you on board with us at Delnet. Thank you so very much, Giridharji. Truly mean that,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We are now making the floor open for our attendees, and we would just like to request you, please raise your digital hand. You have any questions for our distinguished speaker, please kindly raise your digital hand so that we can ask you and give you an audio control. Kindly raise your digital hand on the right hand side of your screen. You would be able to get a digital hand appearing towards the middle, and on the right hand side is to unmute your own self. If you may like to post your question in the chat box, you are most welcome to do that. I would just like to, we have from Mr. Suresh MR. Thanks for showing BITS Pilani Library as it creates inspiration for us to change the mode of our libraries. That's from Mr. Suresh Kumar, and that's for you. Mr. Kunkur Mohammed from Kufas Kochi, that's for you. Dr. Kunkur, thank you, sir. Very nice presentation. And we do have, yes, Mr. Suresh has said that, wow, sir, what a thought-provoking talk. Indeed, all of us are univocal in saying that it was indeed one of the most thought-provoking talk, and lot many takeaways that Dr. Kunkur has offered to each one of us. I'm requesting our attendees, if you have any question that you may like to ask to Dr. Kunkur, to our distinguished speaker, please raise your digital hand so that we can unmute you and give you a control. I would just be going through it to the entire list to see if anyone of our attendees may like to ask a question. We have Mr. Boyuneni Venu who may like to ask a question to Dr. Kunkur. Mr. Boyuneni Venu, I have unmuted you. Please unmute yourself and ask the question. Boyuneni Venu, could you please unmute yourself and ask the question? I think it's not able to do that. So let me lower down his hand and to see if we have someone else who may like to ask a question to Giridharji. We have Dr. Kumaraswamy Reddy who may like to ask a question. Dr. Kumaraswamy Reddy, could you please unmute yourself? I have unmuted you. Yes, we are connected, Dr. Kumaraswamy. Dr. Kumaraswamy, please introduce yourself and ask the question. Hello. Dr. Kumaraswamy, it seems that Dr. Kumaraswamy, you're connected right now. Please ask the question. Hello. I think he's having some technical glitch in getting connected in the audio mode. Let me just see. We have Dr. Santosh Kumar Jha who may like to ask a question. Dr. Santosh Kumar Jha. Dr. Santosh, please unmute yourself and you may ask the question to Giridharji. Yes, Santosh, hello. We are connected. Yes, Santosh, please go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. Introduce yourself.
Yes.
First, introduce yourself and ask the question.
I am librarian from the Directorate of Distance Education at Mithila University, Darbhanga. Sir, I want to know about this. Actually, I have more than 20,200 old texts in my library. but it has no proper values. Today I'm getting it. I listening some things that you have arranged these types of documents and give it quality looks. So how can I manage and maintaining these types of collections, sir?
You said 35 what? What are these?
Sir?
You said
Santosh,
35
Yes, ma'am.
because your
what
audio is
kind
not.
of documents? What kind of documents, Dr. Santosh? There's 35,000?
Yes. I have 70,000 435 old rare books.
Rare
And
book.
Oh,
yes, our number of titles is more than 20,000.
oh, okay,
Almost
okay.
200-year old.
All right, all right. So that's really
This library belongs to Mahamod Dr. Sir Ganga Naja. He became the first librarian of this library, then became Vice Chancellor of Allahabad University.
okay, okay. Well,
Yes, yes,
it's a very important area that you are talking about, Santosh, Mr. Santosh Jha.
yes,
Uh, as a librarians, the rare books really matter a lot because they talk about the human knowledge that is you are talking about 200 years old. That means they must be very, very precious. Okay.
yes,
So there are many things that one can look at it. One is the preservation point of view. Okay.
yes.
So again, when we
I
talk
have
about,
I I have set up a preservation lab and digitization lab also in there, sir.
yeah. So in Bits Pilani, I wish I had also shown you something that we do for preservation of books. Okay. So
Okay.
what we have created a book preservation laboratory in Bits Pilani Library. Okay, that was I mean, there the library staff members have been trained by National Archives of India.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so if you do not know this particular service that is offered by National Archives of India,
Ye-
you
Yes.
can be in touch with them actually, because preservation is a very important activity, especially 200
Oh,
years old or
definitely,
precious things.
definitely.
Okay,
Many
you
books are the high acidic nature, sir.
exactly, they must have become
Many of
brittle. They have become
yes,
brittle. Now
yes,
the
sir.
thing is, you must get them preserved with the help of German tissue paper. Okay. Now that it is a very laborious process of individual book going through the book preservation work. Okay.
Yes, I know that. I know that because I had get training from 1 month National Mission for Manuscript. I had conserved more than 80 100 folios of manuscript in different areas
Okay.
in
That's nice.
Mithila.
That's nice to
Sir,
know. So
sir.
please, my suggestion is you continue to do that, but try to figure out the most valuable collections, within that you have. You take them on a priority, give more emphasis on the ones which are absolutely in a very, very bad shape. Identify such titles and make them go through this particular preservation process. Number one. Number two, you can
Yes.
consider digitizing them. Okay, so it
Okay.
should also go through a digitization process, because the access to the information will become even more important. What happened in our case,
Definitely.
fortunately, we have 5,000 collection, not as many as yours. Okay, small
Wow.
but rare books, very, very rare books. So these 5,000 books were digitized by Government of India. They came with equipment, and the DAC, CDAC people came to BITS Pilani. They
Okay.
undertook the digitization of the 5,000 books, which are now become part of National Digital Library of India. Digital
Wow.
Library of India. Sorry, I repeat.
Digital library.
Digital
Digital Library.
library. Oh,
Okay, so
okay,
that's there. Okay, now
sir.
you need to, like, quickly try to get. You must be having already, I do not know much about your library, but if you have a good scanning machine, if you are able to
Yes.
afford, if your institution is willing to spend more money in acquiring sophisticated this thing, that will help, because your collection is pretty big. Because
Yes, sir.
the process has to go through a very quick way of scanning them, and that do professional scanning, not like just a usual way of.
General. Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Sir.
So the equipment are on a very, very, they are pretty costly actually. Okay, the digital, whereas what we have taken is a very standard kind of a equipment that we have got, Fujitsu. Okay, but then where you keep these books, the place where you house these books also matters a lot. Okay, so you
Yes.
have to bring a climatic condition that is conducive for the books to, continue and survive in that climate. I don't know the extremity of your climatic condition where your library is. In Pilani, it is very, very hot. It reaches right up to 47, 48, 49 during summer, and that is a very unbearable condition for the book actually. So what we have done is we have created a separate section for such books with
Okay.
a specially created walls,
Well,
using,
yeah, okay.
yeah, we have put glass wool between the two layers of the wall, and in between there is a glass wool. Okay, I wish I had
Okay.
shown you as part of my presentation. I have a separate presentation, but I can share it with you separately if you connect with me later. Whatever we
Okay.
have done, perhaps I don't mind sharing that with you. Okay,
Okay,
and
sir.
maybe
Okay.
you can protect them from dust and things like that. So I don't mind sharing photographs and the activities that we undertake. I don't mind sharing that. You connect with me on my email. I shall be more than happy to help you out with whatever I know.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
Giridharji. Santosh, you may get in touch with Dr. Giridharji. The email ID and the mobile number is being displayed on the screen also. You can just take a note of that and you can write to Giridharji directly, okay? And you
Okay,
need
ma'am.
any assistance, let
Thank,
us know. Yeah,
thank
right,
you.
sure.
Very
Thank you,
valuable,
thank you.
valuable
Yeah,
direction.
thank
Okay.
you, thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Santosh, for joining us. Thank you. We'll just like to now go to our next attendee who may like to ask a question. We have Dr. Felsi D'Souza, who has joined us from St. Joseph's Engineering College, Mangalore. Felsi, I have unmuted you.
Hello, madam.
Yes, yes,
Hello.
very good afternoon. Pleasure to see you
Yeah.
online. Yeah.
Yes, madam. Good evening to you. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, I already posted my question. I don't know whether you have seen it or no. Sir, thank you so much. It was a very informative and motivational session. And thank you for sharing your innovative ideas with us, which truly inspired us a lot. My question here is, sir, like you have that how do you are doing so much like for the students, and the students are also taking part in the activities organized by the library. So my question here is, how do you manage to get the students involved in so many activities in the library? Is it during working hours or off hours?
Well, okay, that's again a very interesting question, I should say, and it will be useful for all the libraries or the library colleagues who are there in today's session. You see, at BITS Pilani, we have adopted one system. We engage students as the teaching assistants. Every
Okay.
semester we engage students as teaching assistants, and we pay them certain amount of stipend, okay, for the entire
Okay.
semester. And also they will
Okay.
be a certificate from the library, okay, for undertaking. But before we engage, we sit and we decide the kind of task that should be given to them, and that do they are supposed to finish it within the stipulated time frames, managing their study as well as their labs and workshops and things like that. They have to manage the
Okay.
library
Okay.
activity. So it is a kind of a task given to them, and they show such a lot of interest I can't describe. And when they do, take my words, they deliver with a higher level of meeting higher level of expectation. uh, they are not library science, but you can guide them as to what is your ultimate goal of what you want to achieve. If you
Okay.
tell them this is what we want to achieve, we need your help. So there could be
Okay.
different kinds of tasks that you may like to identify in your library and associate such tasks with the students who can do it well. Suppose if it is
Okay.
IT related, you can engage people from computer science background. Okay.
Okay.
they can develop the software, they can develop whatever it is. So depends upon the nature of the work that you want to undertake in the library, and try to engage the people having those kinds of skills. For example, when we developed the BITS Pilani Heritage Gallery, that BITS
Okay.
Pilani Gallery needed aesthetic sense to
Yes,
display,
sir.
to
Yeah.
write the content. That requirement was different, very, very different.
Yes,
So
sir. You
it,
are right.
yeah, flair for writing, flair for
Yeah.
aesthetic design, those are
Okay.
artistic minds.
So all that
They,
is done by the students, sir.
no, 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 no. I don't say that. You
This
see,
is
Okay.
you
inputs.
drive
Idea
the unique
ideas.
students. Yeah, you need to give ideas to the students.
Okay. Okay.
First of all, you need to conceptualize the
Yeah.
idea.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Right.
You must have a big picture. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
How you want to see it? You need to have that big picture before you. And to
Okay.
reach that particular big picture, to make it happen, you engage
Okay.
students in your direction.
Okay.
So what you think will eventually crystallize, and you can see it happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you. Thank
sir.
you very much.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Felsi, for joining us. Now we would
Thank you,
like to
madam.
go to our, yeah, thank you very much. We would like to now go to our next attendee who may like to ask a question, Yadav Shinde. Mr. Yadav Shinde, you have raised your hand. Could you please unmute yourself and ask your question? Mr. Yadav Shinde. Mr. Yadav Shinde, could you please unmute yourself? I think Mr. Yadav has got some issue in getting connected. I have compelled to mute him now, so let me just go to our next attendee who may like to ask a question to Girdharji, and I'm just approaching Sarangapani R. Dr. Sarangapani R may like to ask a question to Dr. Girdhar. Dr. Sarangapani R, could you please unmute yourself, introduce yourself and ask the question? Dr. Sarangapani R, could you please unmute yourself? Yes, we are
Hello.
connected, Dr.
Good evening.
Sarangapani. Yeah, very good
Yes,
evening.
madam. Good
Yes.
evening, madam. Sir, good
Good
evening,
evening.
Giridhar, sir. I am Dr. Sarangamani, University Librarian, Bharatiya University, Tamil Nadu. First of all,
Okay.
I thank to arranging the wonderful session for the periodically arranging the wonderful session for our library community. Thank you very much, madam. Sangeeta, madam. Thank you very much.
Very much, Dr. Sarangapani. Thank you.
And I also thank to Dr. Giridhar Kunkur, sir. Your presentation is very nice, simple and neat in different kind of format. I have one clarification about your presentation.
Sure.
Now you are working as a BITS Pilani campus.
Yes.
Now you are incorporating in your PPT some of the images there. That, for example, BITS Pilani Heritage Gallery, and some of the service you are providing, latest service. I think teaching aid alert service, research aid alerting service. These all things you are adopted in your library, sir.
Yes. Yes. These are implemented.
Okay, very nice. I think it is a new thing. I think in my experience, I get some new innovative service provided to all the user. I will adopt this kind of service in our university campus. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Just to reiterate, whatever I spoke, they are already implemented in the library.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And this is, yes, to inform everyone that Dr. Girdharji is one amongst the very rare professionals who speaks from the work that he has done. It's not what he desires to see around, but he's the one, and one can always see that it's coming from his experience, it's coming from his actions that he has already implemented into reality, and whatever he has shown you today, and it's all everything. You can go to BITS Pilani campus and can practically see all those things being there happening, as a happening place, what Girdharji has done. Thank you so much, Girdharji, for bringing in much of inspiration now, to each of the attendee. We could see not many questions being there. We have Sajina M who may like to ask a question. Not many digital hands being raised to ask you the question. Sajina M, could you please unmute yourself and ask the question? Sajna, please kindly unmute yourself and ask the question. Sajna, may I request you, Sajna M, please unmute yourself and ask the question. I think some of our attendees does encounter issues in asking the question. Do kindly click to this unmute. Ravi T. Mr. Ravi T. Ravi.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm here, madam.
Yes, Ravi.
Yeah,
Please kindly. Good evening. Ask
good
your question.
afternoon, everyone. Yeah, it's a really wonderful session, madam. We had a lot of things. I think it's not a library. I thought that it is a big university. That the Giridhar sir shown the slides. While looking at, I came to know that I have not visited a library. I have visited a whole university. Such a beautiful construction it was, sir. I was really thankful to you, sir, for such a wonderful presentation. And my question is, sir, regarding collection development in this digital era, it's very difficult to that maintain the collection development policy according to our norms, sir. So kindly suggest how we can decide and how we can go with the collection development in this present situation.
Are you talking about present situation as in COVID-19?
In the sense, digital era, in this digital era, how we can come to conclusion? Yeah.
Wanted to establish a clarity. Okay. So
Yes.
in the digital era, see what we have taken some steps in the recent past. I can say that, you know, in the last 2 years, primarily. First of all, we focused on acquiring all textbooks that are prescribed for all the courses in BITS Pilani. We have made a, you know, first time attempt to get everything digitally. Okay. I know and I'm aware of the fact that not all prescribed books are available in e-form. Okay. But whatever is available in the e-form, we have made them available. We have put them as a part of our collection. You know, we are a part of Shibboleth platform also, remotely access, and we have put it over there. Now, coming to the collection development policy, earlier, say about 10 years ago, there was absolutely not even a smallest of the small attempt that was made to have you know, e-books. So the emergence of acquiring e-books and things like that as a part of collection development started about you know, 5-6 years back, not earlier. You know, we just started building a smaller collection. Okay. Now the thing is, when we talk about the collection development, there are many things. Many libraries adopt different policies. Like when it comes to textbooks, many libraries adopt a policy of going for multiple copies, like, you know, 10 copies of a particular book. Sometimes, you know, 15 to 20 copies of a particular book. Okay. So I don't know whether it's a really good thing to happen. Uh, we strongly believe in providing variety of titles on the same topic rather than going for 20, 25 to 30 copies of the same book. I do not subscribe to that philosophy at all. Okay. Whereas, you know, if there is a more demand, okay, we will get maximum of up to 4 to 5 titles, I mean, copies of the same book, but not more than that. We put a, you know, line there. You know, we do not want to go for more than that, because I know that there is a sometimes, you know, long queue to get the book. Okay. So we have kept such books even in the reference collection, so that whoever wants to read it, it's readily available even in you know, the textbook counter or you know, the reference counter. And collection development policy is a very big documentation. Okay, so you must be having it already. So I'm not talking about the nitty gritties of collection development. What is most desired is something needs to be procured. Okay, so of late what we have decided is, first of all, out of X amount that is allocated to our library, we set aside certain amount that is specifically meant for getting e-books. Okay, and say it is in the range of about, you know, 70-30. Last year it was even smaller. This time it is growing. The e collection kitty is growing, year after year, that we can see that. And what we do is, depending upon the size of the department, say for example, computer science, it has got maximum number of faculty members and maximum number of students and research scholars compared to other departments. In our university, I'm giving you an example. So naturally, compared to rest of the departments, we need to spend more money because there are more people, the more population is there in that particular department. So when we get a budget, that budget gets divided into not equally across all the 13 departments that we have. Okay. So we come out with a ratio, and depending upon the population of each department, we allocate the library budget, and we inform the library committee member in the beginning of the financial year, saying that, look, this is your allocated budget for your department, so you need to spend this money before the end of this year. So we keep on monitoring their recommendations, suggestions, and all that. So this is to bring a balance between balance in the collection development approach. So it should not happen that we unilaterally spend a lot of money for one particular department and another department got absolutely meager sum and all that. That should not happen. Okay. So it should go with the complete transparency, and go with the population of the department, and then decide with the HODs, decide with the library committee members to and seek their inputs. What level of digital content should be there? What level of print collection should be there? Let them be the stakeholders of the decision. Okay. So we should leave it to the faculty members to decide when it comes to selection, except for social science related the section where we can chip in, we can recommend and all that. Okay. But science, technology, engineering, other technical, we should leave it to the department concerned, and you should arrive at the appropriate allocation of budget for the department depending upon the size of the department it is. And so it is a collection development is a big talk actually. Okay, so it really requires a lot of time and points to be covered. So I don't know whether I am able to tell you at least something that you thought out of my answer, but if there is anything more, do let me know, Mr. Ravi.
Ravi, hello. I think, okay. Thank you very much for a very exhaustive reply, Giridharji. I could see that we have a couple of our attendees still who are wanting to, the more you're interacting, the more digital hands I can see, they are getting raised because they are wanting really to get your inputs on the issues that they have lingering in their minds. We have Pinky Ganju who may like to ask you a question from Army Public School, Delhi. Pinky, I have unmuted you. Could you please unmute yourself and ask your question? And I just request our attendees to be very precise and brief in their questions, please, because we are running short of time, and we would really request you to be very precise in asking your question to our distinguished speaker. Pinky, please kindly go ahead. Yeah. Yes, Pinky, we are connected. You may kindly ask your question. Hello. Hello. It seems though we're connected. Anupama Saxena may like to ask. We have lot many of our attendees who are wanting. Anupama Saxena, Anupama, I have unmuted you. Please ask your question. Anupama Saxena. No, okay, let me go to the next one. Swathi Reddy. Swathi, I have unmuted you. Could you please unmute yourself and ask the question? Swathi Reddy, could you please ask your question? Let me just unmute mute her now.
A technical problem because many of them are not able to handle.
No, they have to click on to this unmute. That's what they're not able to do it. Yeah. Narendra Tekde, Mr. Narendra Tekde. Yes, we are connected. Narendra, could you please ask your question? Narendra, we are connected right now. Please speak and ask your question. Mr. Narendra. Jolly you. You have to unmute both your speaker, the speaker on the right hand side. There is a click of a image of the speaker. You have to click on that to unmute yourself. Jolly.
Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, hi. Yes, hi, Jolly.
Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Good evening, all of you. Sir, it was a very wonderful session. I enjoyed it and it was very informative, sir.
Thank
And
you.
one thing you have described that research alert system and teaching aid alert system.
Yes.
That was very nice. Can you explain it how you manage to give the alerts to the researchers and teachers or students, sir?
Madam, which organization, which university are you from?
I am from St. Mary's College. It is an arts and science college, sir, from Kerala.
Okay. Right, right. So currently, what kind of federated search engine do you have? Do
Oh,
you have any?
no, I do not have.
Okay. See, you need to have a platform because it
Okay.
is an auto-generated alert service, and that links, that particular software that we generate, it
Okay, sir.
identifies based on the keywords given. It runs through, it crawls through all the databases, all the journals, all the articles, and
Okay, sir.
try to pick and choose the articles from the database and retrieve that based on the exact keyword. So
Okay,
it is it is, let us accept the fact that it is humanly not possible to go through such a vast collection of millions and millions of articles to retrieve
okay,
the alerts, right?
okay,
So
okay, sir.
requires a computer software to be developed. So you need a platform. So
Okay,
as
sir.
I
Okay,
mentioned in my presentation, we used something called EBSCO's discovery tool as
okay,
a basic platform, but we had to design a service platform separately to
okay, sir.
integrate
Okay,
with discovery tool. So it was a kind of an amalgamation between already existing federated search engine and a service platform, connecting
okay,
both together and
okay,
making the service available. So
okay, okay.
first of all, at a basic level, what you can do is check with I don't know how many journals you get in the first place. Okay, how many journals are there, how many articles are there, how
Okay,
you want
sir.
to provide service. But you can check with your computer IT people whether they can help you out with somebody who can create a platform for your service.
Okay, sir.
uh, First of all, you have to crack that particular stage. You need to
Okay,
have the ability of providing that particular service.
okay,
Then
sir.
you think about implementing the service to the audience at your
Okay,
place.
sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you,
Okay,
Thank you.
Giridhar.
okay.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
thank you,
Thank you. Thank you, Jolly.
thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.
much for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. We have now I would like to take perhaps the last question for the session from Dharma Rapu Sindhu. I have unmuted you. Please unmute yourself to ask your question. Yes, we are connected, Mr. Sindhu. Mr. Sindhu, please unmute yourself. I have sent you an unmute request also. Yes, connected.
Hello.
Yes, Sindhu. Sorry, Sindhu. Yes, please kindly ask your question. Sindhu, please ask your question. This is what really happens at times. Please unmute yourself, Sindhu. We were able to hear you. Please unmute yourself. I think I need to mute her now. And Pinky Ganju, Pinky, Mrs. Ganju, I'm trying to connect with you once again. Please unmute yourself. I have sent you an unmute request also, Mrs. Ganju. Please unmute yourself to ask your question.
I'm unmute. Are you able to hear me,
Yes,
Dr.
yes,
Sangeeta?
yes, yeah, very much. Yes, yes, Mrs. Ganju,
Good
please.
evening, Dr. Girdhar. I'm Pinky Ganju from the Army Public School. I'm the librarian of the school. I just have one simple question. Do you have any advice for the school libraries to digitize very old books? Actually, we have very old books and the syllabus keeps changing every year. So
Oh.
the syllabus keeps updating. But some topics in the books are very, very nice and very, very good to refer to the children right now also. Do you have some advice to the school libraries how we are going to digitize that and how we are going to procure all those old books?
Oh, okay. Dr. Sangeeta, I wish she was a part of our previous
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
have that
January program. Yes.
Actually,
but
I had some another seminar online, so that I could not attend the same one. It was clashing with my
Yeah.
other
No,
seminar.
no problem. We are going to hold it very soon. Yet again, something more, Mrs. Ganju. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
You know what? Um, your requirement is slightly different from
Yes,
the
yes,
college and higher education,
yes,
because the users of your service, digitized contents, it could be not only teachers but also might be students also, like, isn't it?
yes, sir. Yes,
Platform that you need to create should be very different. Okay. Uh, so now the thing is whether you want to undertake a physical digitization work in your own school library or whether you are going to outsource it. Okay. So
okay.
if you have a necessary infrastructure, you can perhaps consider doing that, but you need to adopt a good practice. Don't straight
Yes, sir.
away digitization. My suggestion is you study similar such initiatives adopted by some good schools, which we know, even Dr. Sangeeta knows that those schools have adopted very good digitization practice, and we could see them, in our last webinar, and we shall be happy to connect you with those people who have already got a lot of experience of doing the similar thing that you wish to do. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
I got your point. I got.
Yeah, so what I suggest is you send your request to Dr. Sangeeta. In liaison with Dr. Sangeeta, we will try to address your this thing. And maybe if it is possible, we will advise you to connect with the XYZ person. Okay,
Yeah,
to
sure.
get more
Thank you so
appropriate.
much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Giridhar. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Uh,
And Mrs. Ganju,
sure.
one more thing is there once we think about digitization. So the copyright also, is yet another major concern that we have to look into. As you are saying that you want to digitize the content, the books, for example. So we need to see, selectively you are doing it, one chapter or so, it's fine, but you cannot do that if it's a published title from a publisher. You cannot digitize that content, with unless and
Yes,
until
yes, that's what I
that
wanted. That's
material.
what
So
I
yeah,
wanted to know.
exactly. So you cannot. There are set criterias for, because you can have one chapter scan, for example, as you were saying, some part of it is of great relevance to the students or still holds good for them, but you cannot digitize a content which is under copyright. There is a copyright with the publisher. You cannot. You have no right to digitize it. So there are a couple of constraints in that, but one can definitely deliberate on that and also on your specific requirement that what you want to do. But let me assure you that we are in yet another 2 weeks time launching our Dell dress portal. Is just in the final stages of getting live, and we will soon be in touch with all our school librarians, including you, Mrs. Ganju. So thank you
Thank you
very
so
much,
much,
and
Dr.
thank you. Yeah,
Thank you so
yeah,
much.
thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Thank you. Thank you, Girdharji. Thank you so much. I believe, Girdharji, we have to join hands in doing a program sometime soon, especially because this is a concern being expressed across, especially the schools community, and
Yeah.
they need to have some kind of a guidance, and we strongly feel that we should think about doing something. We have Anupama Saxena. Anupama, you are connected right now. Would you like to ask a question quickly? We have to wind up the session in yet another 5 minutes time. Anupama Saxena. Anupama, would you like to ask a question? Or I think by mistake, sometimes our attendees are just clicking on to see what it does, and we are able to get an alarm on our interface here. Anyhow, I think perhaps Anupama is not wanting to ask a question, and she was trying to see that how it works. This is now my last search for, if anyone wants to ask a question, please quickly raise your hand, because this is now kind of a last call for the questions. No, there's no one else. I'll just quickly move to the chat box to see. We have, okay, Mr. Nirmal Khatri Mr. Nirmal Khatri, this is Mr. Nirmal Khatri has asked a question to Girdharji, and Girdharji, this is for you to react. Good afternoon, sir. A nice presentation. Myself, Dr. Khatri, former associate scientist, ISI Delhi Center. Namaskar, Khatri Saab. It's good to get connected with you after a long time. How you are providing online service through consortia-based subscription of databases to your outstation branches at Dubai. License agreement and price models are approved for all the 3 branches, including Dubai. Dubai branch gets online services. I think, Girdharji, just a quick thing, maybe just in a minute or so, if you can react to Mr. Khatri's concern.
Mr. Khatri, thanks for that question, but please note that the licenses or the kind of agreements that we go in for are for Indian-based campuses like, Pilani, Hyderabad, and Goa. Whereas, the Dubai, we do not, it does not come under, because they come under a different set of guidelines, policies, and copyright things and all that stipulated by the publishers. It's because when country is different, we cannot engage the same kind of license agreements with them. So our license agreements are by and large same for Indian-based campuses, whereas our Dubai campus has a separate policy guidelines or license agreements with the publisher. So there is a distinct difference between. Yeah.
Thank you, Girdharji. I'm sorry for interrupting you because I could see 2 more hands of our attendees. Dr. Tarseem Lal. Dr. Tarseem Lal, I have unmuted you from DAV College. Dr. Tarseem Lal, please unmute yourself and quickly ask your question to Dr. Girdharji. Dr. Tarseem Lal, could you please ask your question? I think he's not able to do that. Let me just go to Dr. Manoj Kumar. No, Dr. Manoj Kumar is not there now. If anyone wants, it seems that this is the very last call now. If you want to ask any question, quickly raise your hand and we will be able to take maximum 1 question now. Dr. Srinivasan M. Dr. Srinivasan, it's happening that, no. Dr. Srinivasan, no, you are no longer there online. I'll just see if there is in the chat box, there looks to be a question. Okay, this is a quick question for you, Girdharji, from Yogesh Shinde, who is wanting to ask that which RFID system are you using in your library?
Yes. We have implemented RFID almost about 5 years back. It is, you must have heard the company, it is Bibliotheca. It's wonderfully synchronized with Koha software. And ever since we have implemented, not even once we had to face any kind of difficulty. It is a total automation system that we have put up, and there's no looking back. So it has really worked wonders with us. It is Bibliotheca RFID system. I always recommend that to anybody, whoever wants to implement, RFID system. That's it. I mean, unless you want to know something more.
Thank you very much, Girdharji. It looks like that we are towards now the closure of the session because, there are no further questions. Let me, on behalf of Delnet and on behalf of all the attendees, Girdharji, thank you so very much. We can't thank you enough for all the knowledge sharing, inspiring note that you had. For last 2 hours, the session was scheduled only for an hour, and that is what happens when we have a distinguished speaker like you around, who really ensures that all the questions, it also ignites the minds of the attendees, and everyone feels like asking you for the things that they have been pondering about for long. It has truly been a scintillating talk by you. We profusely thank you for sharing your vast expertise and experience with each one of us. And it would be definitely, I think, in fitness of things, if our library professionals at least for once go and pay a visit to BITS Pilani Library and see how you have nurtured and created this library at BITS Pilani a kind of a must-see for the library professionals. And that's because of your impeccable contributions that you have been making, not only to the library, but also through these forums, sensitizing them, informing them, opening up their minds, and inspiring them to become this game changers in today's day and time, the need of the hour. Thank you so very much indeed, for devoting so much of time and for being able to accommodate our request to be there. We are indeed much grateful to you. We are also much grateful to each one of our attendees for being there with us this afternoon, and also for all our attendees for being truly a very participative attendees at the same time. It's not, once you ask a question, it's not just limited and it's meant for enhancing your own knowledge and for your own clarity. Let me say that you're also benefiting others, many others, and as we said, today is a time not only for learn and to unlearn, but to relearn. So this process, you are helping everyone involved, whether it's an organizers, whether it's another attendee from your own city, from your own state, from your own country, or from anywhere. You are helping and contributing in asking and making the sessions more interactive with your these kind of participations. So thank you very much. Thank you, our distinguished speaker, Dr. Giridhar Kunkurji. On behalf of Delnet, a big thank you to each one of you for making yet another session, this monthly series session of Delnet, truly an enriching and exciting one. We really look forward. We would just like to mention that on 12th of March, there would be yet another webinar, which is a collaborative one in which Delnet is also collaborating with IEEE and ACM Chennai chapter, which is on the development of chatbot services for libraries. And we have a distinguished speaker from IBM who would be joining in. We have already sent across and will soon be again sending yet another mail. Please do kindly join us on 12th of March at 3 p.m. That's going to be on yet another different platform as being used by ACM Chennai. And also would like to mention that next month's monthly webinar, we will be holding it on 30th of March instead on the 31st of March, because many of us, and I think all of us, would be fully occupied because that would be the last working day for the financial year of 2021. So we would like to ensure that, our desks are being set with for new agendas and new actions for 1st of April. And we would be occupied on 31st of March. So we would be holding our next March month's webinar on 30th of March. That would be falling on Tuesday. So mark your calendars right away for 30th of March. We are going to come to you soon with the title of the webinar and also of our speaker. So thank you very much. Thank you, Giridharji, once again. And we really look forward to having you back again for, let's collaborate for doing many more programs in the near future. Thank you, one and all. We do hope that this webinar has really ignited, and not hope, we are pretty confident about it, and that's evident from the participation that we have seen today. So let's leverage our technology, our users, our own competence to bring a change around that we really want to see and we really wish to be a part of it. We are pretty confident that collaboratively, once we stay connected, we are working for a same goal, and the goal is to serve our users with much of more divinity and more passion. And let's see to it that we continue this journey of serving the users collectively together. Thank you so much for being a wonderful part of these webinars. Your presence with us means a lot to us. We're really looking forward to seeing you back again very soon in the future webinars of Delnet. Once again, a big thank you. I also would like to thank each one of you for being there with us this afternoon, and my own colleagues, Mr. Kushal Giri Goswami and Mrs. Ranjana, for coordinating, for these webinars on behalf of Delnet. So once again, Giridharji, we can't thank you, and we really mean it. You have always been of great strength to us. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. Stay happy, stay blessed, stay informed, and do stay connected. Profound privilege and honor for Delnet to be there with us. Thank you. Thank you, Giridharji. Thank you so much once again. Thank you. Thank you.